Right. The whole reclassification thing, right? I was slightly hesitant about it, right? I think USC playing Purdue in November isn't necessarily like the football that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I think Purdue on a random Saturday in November belongs in, I don't know, like Northwestern, right?
Right.
Instead of USC being there.
Yeah.
But after this, this past week ish, I think I'm kind of on board with it. Right? I think college football has a really, really big boring issue. Right? There were 94 games in Division One, whatever, single A, right? Not counting like FCS football.
Yeah.
94 games in Division One this weekend. I had to not run to a television, but I planned my day to be able to watch three of them. Three of them. The Backyard Brawl, that Oregon game, and then the Notre Dame Georgia game. Or no, I'm sorry, Notre Dame Ohio State Georgia Oregon game.
Yes.
That's it. God, I'm sorry. People are like, oh, but what about Arkansas and Cincinnati? I mean, Arkansas is going to finish, I don't know, probably like 8-4. They'll be like fourth or fifth in the SEC. They'll probably play in like the Alamo Bowl or something like that. Like, no, I don't care.
Just like
they're gonna whack Cincinnati. I don't care to watch that.
like Kentucky and Miami of Ohio today.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get. People are like, well, they're ranked. Okay, like outside the top 15, nobody cares anyway. I mean, I don't care to watch Alabama pound Utah State into the ground and have their third string guys coming out to start the second half. I'm gonna be up 40. I mean, even some of the good games, I don't care about. Well, what about Penn State? Okay, Penn State's going to finish third right behind Ohio State and Michigan like they do, I don't know, almost every single year.
Yeah.
Because once again, like every single year, their quarterback and coach are overrated. It's the same program. The same program. No matter, look, these are 17, 18-year-old kids coming in. Your program is what builds them. They don't build programs. College is different like that, right? You get Joe Burrow in the NFL, he can build your franchise, build your program, your professional program per se. You very, very rarely, like once in maybe 20, 25 years, will get somebody that comes in and transforms an entire program. Sure. Again, even go back to the Joe Burrow one, who's legendary for creating Cincinnati and taking LSU to that next step. Well, LSU was bad before him, and, well, they're bad now. Not bad, but not super competitive.
Yes.
Right? The 3 years before Joe and then so far since haven't been super competitive.
I mean, you could look at Clemson with Trevor Lawrence with that, too. I mean, but it's a small, select group of quarterbacks or just players in general that are going to transform a college culture. I understand that.
Right. And so you look at, I mean, off the top of your head, you're thinking like Reggie Bush. It's really, really hard to think of these guys.
I mean, they set themselves apart when they do something like that.
Right. And so my point is, okay, Penn State's going to finish third anyway. Like I don't need to rush to a TV screen to see them play at Purdue. Right? And Wisconsin's probably even better, so they might even finish fourth. Right? And I'd argue even another year under Mel Tucker, Michigan State might be better. I mean, there's a meaningful game issue. I want more backyard brawls. I want more, F it, I'll play you anywhere, anytime, I don't care. Right? The old Pittsburgh shirts on ice or on grass, well,
Yeah.
you finish it, right?
It runs.
Fantastic. Right? I don't want Alabama on home turf smacking Utah State. I don't care. That sucks tremendously for the sport. It's not good. Proposition. Week 1, you play your biggest out-of-conference rival.
I like that.
Either Pitt Penn State or Pitt West Virginia. Maybe not biggest, but you play one of your top 3 out-of-conference rivals, right? So you'd have Pitt Penn State, Pitt West Virginia. You could even argue me into Pitt Cincinnati because it was such a big rivalry in the Big East.
Yeah.
Right? Acrisure probably wouldn't sell out to the degree that WVU did, but it'd get a pretty packed stadium for a Cincinnati Pitt game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you had that in Cincinnati, that's a big game for a Cincinnati type team.
Right.
Right? One of your biggest out-of-conference rivals, week 1. The final week of the season is your biggest in-conference rival.
I like that.
Make it interesting, start to finish. I mean, even the small schools will like this. Like, do you think Utah State fans want to go see them get waxed in Tuscaloosa today? No. How about they go compete against some Mountain West team week 1, warm up a little bit, at least it's a competitive football game, right? While Alabama goes and plays, I don't know, maybe week 1, Clemson or something like that. They've been a rivalry in the recent past, right? They play Clemson. Then the final week of the year, they'll get Bama, Georgia in the Iron Bowl.
Yes.
Or I'm sorry, no, Bama, Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Or Bama, Georgia might not be a bad idea.
That would be a pretty good one as well.
Right? So you get rivalries as bookends. I mean, come on. What do we want? Do we, I like college football, and according to ratings, though, it's dying a little bit across the country.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we need the USC versus Ohio State once a year. That game, I will guarantee you, I am running to the TV stand just to watch that.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we need a Bama, Texas every year. We need Miami to be able to compete against Clemson. I like Pitt, and I love that they're able to compete against Clemson. That's not sustainable, and that's not nationwide success, right? We're not a big hub per se, like a Miami, right? If Miami's good, the whole sport's good, right? I mean, this is really good in the NFL, right? Kansas City, dead smack in the middle of in the country, right? They kind of have a small town feel to them. Oh, but also the big time LA Rams are good. The kind of hippie weird Denver is really good, right? Vegas, where it's kind of transient and it's a really really weird city, they're good. But then again, also there's small town Green Bay that's good, right? Like, you need diversity. You need some bigger games, right? I mean, I'm going to tune in to watch Jacksonville and Washington.
Because it's interesting.
Yeah, because it's going to be a good game. I mean, hell, Cleveland is starting Jacoby Brissett, and Carolina is starting Baker Mayfield. Their coach is probably going to get fired. Their offensive line looks like a middle school offensive line, and it's a must-watch football game. It's must-watch. I'm just saying. Right? They have an interesting problem in college football, and I think the realignment at least solves it a little bit.